start the review without any coffee. How is everyone doing today? Finally, the break is over. Pretty exciting, right? I kind of feel like it will be some time before we're gonna have another chapter that is genuinely unexciting though. That one was definitely anything but. My god, so much to unpack there. Before we start, I'll give you a few seconds to grab yourself something great to drink. For me, it's coffee, but if you're watching this before going to bed or you're not really into coffee, go for what you feel like right now. Ready? Well, let's roll the intro then. This chapter was so amazing to read, and yet I'm already so excited for the next one. The start of Oden's flashback at the end? Goddamn. I've been waiting for this, Chapter 957 of One Piece is out, and I don't know about you guys, but I genuinely love this chapter. Not only did it contain some critical information, but also a lot of minor details that made it so enjoyable. If you've been worried that the Straw Hats haven't been getting enough attention in this arc so far, this must have been the chapter for you. As I promised you, starting now, the focus will move more and more towards Luffy and his crew. As always, I'm excited to hear your thoughts on this chapter, so don't forget to leave your thoughts and ideas down below. Also, if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit that like button. Crush it if that's something you're into. And now, we have to talk about One Piece. After the last chapter gave us a pretty cold opening to Act 3 of Wano and got us wondering what the hell happened to everyone, this time we jump back in time a little bit and get a somewhat explanation for what occurred. 2 days before the festival and the current time, we get a deeper look at what is going on all over the country and how the Alliance is moving their preparations forward. We start off with Franky and Usopp, who were supervising the reconstruction of the fleet for the army. Both have helped preparing enough ships for everyone to cross the sea towards Onigashima, and are now leaving to meet up with the rest of the crew in Amigasa village. A small detail here that poked my eye was that once again, Franky throws around a quite random number for the size of their forces. First it was 10,000, but then it turned out that was a mistranslation and it were actually 100,000, and now we're somehow back to 5,000. While Oda definitely is a master of consistency and detail, numbers aren't really part of that. Or maybe it's just that Franky came to the realization that making ships for 100,000 people might be going a bit overboard. Meanwhile, we're shown that not everyone involved with the Alliance is as convinced as Kinemon that their plan is flawless. Especially the heads of the Yakuza, who are well aware of the government officials' actions, imply that everyone getting to the meeting point at the same time might endanger the operation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Oda already heavily implies here that some parts of the army already planned on arriving at different times and not so early right from the start. So we already have a first good explanation for not everybody being at the harbor at the promised time. And I'm also so glad to see the other leaders in Wano using their knowledge about the country to secure the plan, and not just blindly accept it. Having people making well thought out decisions makes it a lot more difficult to write convincing plots, but when it's done right, it makes everything so much more enjoyable. And in this case, seeing people talking about and discussing tactics and strategies really hypes me up for the battles to come even more. Next, we move to Amigasa village, where we follow the final preparations of the Straw Hats. If you watched my last review, you will remember how hyped I was for Kiko's Kabuto samurai armor. And what does Oda do? Give one to Luffy, Chopper, and Brook. And honestly, I can't tell you who of the three I find the coolest. Though, to be fair, I would probably go with Brook. I mean, look at that. Skeleton samurai? Does this story get any better? And the artwork here also, again, simply beautiful. But of course, seeing Luffy fight in this outfit will also be super exciting to see. Especially what he's gonna do with that sword. Plus, I love how this is the exact outfit that Oda drew Luffy in on the color spread in chapter 310. 310! That is almost 650 chapters ago. Damn man. Ugh. And now that I think about it, is that sword the Nidai Katetsu again? Because if it is, I think the chances that Zoro will need a new sword during the raid are pretty high. If you listen to our amazing podcast, shameless plug, you will know that I believe that Zoro's Sandai Kitatsu will break at some point. Having Luffy bring his replacement would be a really nice setup for this. The only one that I'm a bit concerned about here is Chopper, who looks super cool, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure if this armor is resizable to adapt to his Devil Fruit powers. If it does though, Monster Point Chopper in a Kabuto armor? Am I actually allowed to dream of that? The other Straw Hats that are already here don't get this amazing outfit upgrade though. Apparently, the girls have to fight in their kimonos because, as video games teach us, women don't need armor. As for Sanji and Zoro, Zoro's Ronin outfit is already way too cool to drop in now. And as he states himself, it would probably only hinder him in his movements. As for Sanji, him not getting an armor is pretty much the same as Oda saying, yeah, this guy is gonna pop on his raid suit ASAP once we reach Onigashima. Then of course we have the moment we've all been waiting for. Sanji asking Zoro if it wouldn't be better to wear the armor since he has a lower bounty than him. And it's simply hilarious. And even if you're a hardcore Zoro fan and Zoro is simply the best for you, I think you should just take the scene with a bit of humor as well, just saying. Meanwhile, we have the Minks discussing the weather conditions of the night of the festival. As we know, there will be a full moon, but at the same time, Onigashima is also a winter island, usually covered in heavy snowfall. So while I 100% think that we will see the Minks fight in their Sulong form, we shouldn't count on the conditions to be perfect for that right from the start. And it's also the first time we've seen Carrot say something in like forever. Also, Wanda reminds us of how important Nekomamushi will be for the fight. And he's not the only one heavily missed before the fight. Finally, Luffy addresses the fact that Jinbei is still nowhere to be seen, and we even get a short flashback to Whole Cake Island for him. And to be completely honest, I'm not sure how I should feel about the entire scene. Luffy calling that he's definitely alive and will come sounds a little bit like provoking fate. But then again, I would be very mad if something had happened to Jinbei. Right now, I have two ideas to how he will actually find his way to Onigashima. Either he will come with Nekomamushi, hence the double foreshadowing here, or he might actually already be here, brought along by the Big Mom pirates. And speaking of Big Mom, am I the only one that is really happy that someone finally mentioned her name? Because in the last chapters, it really felt like everyone just forgot that another Yonko is in Wano. And do they know that her and Kaido have actually formed an alliance? Because to be honest, it doesn't seem that way at all. Maybe Law will have to be the one to inform the alliance of this, since he had contact with X-Drake. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Next, we have a bit of a random stop in Okobore town, where Otsuru and the villagers try to keep Hold'em from investigating the missing food supplies that Kinemon and the others have gathered for the army. My best guess is that the purpose of this scene is to reintroduce Otsuru to us and at the same time make us aware that Orochi apparently hasn't shared the information about the planned attack on Onigashima with all of Kaido's men, since Hold'em seems to be painfully unaware of anything unusual going on. However, some of Kaido's men do seem to work for Orochi as well, since we can see 3 pleasurers flying towards where the Sunny is hidden along the coast of Curry. And then we can see them blowing up the Sunny. Now, while this came as a bit of a shock at first, I think it's fair to say that the Sunny should probably be able to survive such an explosion. Nonetheless, I'm a bit shocked that Orochi even knew the exact location of the ship. And while we don't know for certain who knew about the Sunny's location, it really narrows down the options for the traitor immensely. And if we go so far as to assume that only those who arrived on the ship knew about it, it would basically mean that the traitor is either one of the Straw Hats, which I don't really think is possible, or Carrot. Moving on. As we learn, Orochi might not be as stupid as we're led to believe all the time after all. As it turns out, he single-handedly tries to make any attempt for the Alliance to gather and move forwards to Onigashima impossible. He orders his men to take out all the bridges connecting the islands of Wano, as well as all available ships at the harbor in Curry, which was exactly the port at which Frankie and Usopp have led the repairs of the fleet for the raid. So when we now go back to the present and to the scabbard standing hopelessly and abandoned in front of a stormy sea, we now know that there is some real concern for the gathering of the Alliance. While we know that everyone is indeed safe, we also have seen that Orochi has managed to deal the infrastructure a very critical blow. Nonetheless, we also saw how cautious everyone was, so I'm sure they will have found a solution to this dilemma. Especially Luffy and the others will surely not be held back by a missing bridge or two. And while the Scabbards prepare to take the fight to Kaido on their own, we finally start into the flashback of the man that has been hyped up for it feels like forever. Starting the next chapter, I'm pretty sure we will be getting an Oden flashback story. And I really hope that it will be a long one. Just the introduction of him strolling through the streets of the capital is already great. And Oden saying that the reason for Wano's isolation is heavily linked to the Kozuki clan also promises us a lot of impact for this backstory. So guys, all in all, I hope you agree with me that this chapter was amazing. Like, really, really good. There were so many smaller and larger details in there, and I'm not sure whether I'm more excited about Oden's flashback or the actual battles to come. Now it's finally your turn to share your thoughts on all of this. Make sure to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already part of the crew. Or dislike, don't share and unsubscribe. It's a free world, people. I hope to see you around next time, and until then, have a wonderful week.